across India, a large number of states as well as the centre began imposing a series of taxes on petrol, diesel, and of course, viewers, on liquor. And we are being told that many more commodities will be brought under the tax bracket. Many more services will be brought under the tax bracket. So, what has been hiked? Let me take you through this. What has been hiked? Centre hikes excise duty on petrol and diesel by 10 to 13 per litre. The impact, the benefit of the fall in crude oil price won't be passed on to consumers, but also the price at the pump will not go up. You will not have to pay a rupee more. It will be the OMCs who will be paying the share of this hike to the government. Several states have also increased VAT on petrol and diesel. Price of petrol and diesel goes up, leading to inflation of commodities. Unfortunately, that's what's going to happen in some of these states. They are going to be charging you if you are living in these states. 3, almost 70% increase in excise duty for liquor in many states. Consumers end up paying 4 to 5 times more than the price at a distillery. What is being mulled? Now, viewers, this is very, very important. Pay attention to what is right now going to be imposed in the very near future. Tax on registration of new cars could be increased by states. Vehicles will become costlier with on-road prices going up, so that's important. New COVID cess could be introduced on entertainment activities. Movie tickets, exhibitions, sport events will only get costlier for you. There are several other moves in the pipeline. And I want to open this out because there are many people who are saying that at a time when unemployment is spiraling out of control, and look at the statistics that there are that underscore this. Why is this hike a punishment? Unemployment rate in April, as per the CMIE data, is at 23.5%. That means almost 1 in 4 Indians is without a job. Employed lost job in March, April, as per CMIE data, a fourth of them. 400 million workers at the risk of falling into poverty as per the ILO. 38% salaried staff doesn't have job security as per CRISIL. 5.4% lower services purchasing managers index in April. 45% households reported a fall in income as per the CMIE. I'm sure you're also sitting in a house where the person who is employing you has handed out to you a cut in your salary, or perhaps you have been laid off. Now, viewers, at this time, should you be imposing more and more taxes? That's the central question. The BJP's MP is here with us, Mr. Rudy. First the pandemic, now comes the punishment. Why, sir?
Can I come to it? You see, this is one of the worst kind of recessions post the initial of the 19th century, what we saw post World War II. And no one invited Corona to be with us to stop the economy, and no one was responsible for it, except for China, which has brought this virus. So the world has stopped. It's just not India. Now we are faced with a very extraordinary situation. We are aware of the fact, whether it is tourism, textile, casual workers, exports, all these sectors have been affected when the whole chain of manufacturing has been disturbed. The fact remains agriculture contributes about 16% of the GDP, industry is about 29%, and services is about 54%. Now, if you have to look at this, agriculture, more or less, the government has been able to, and most 25% to 30% people have gone back to the agriculture, which is also employs about 44% of the people in this country. The industry is about 24% and services is about 31%. The challenge is industry and the services. I understand there are sin taxes. Liquor, of course, government had to impose, or the state governments felt the coffers were drying up. They have done it, and there were other reasons also post-COVID, the reaction of the people, how they turned up in large queues in front of liquor shops. But I really am not aware what are the other taxes which you are contemplating or the government is thinking. So possibly that is just some reports which I am not privy to. But unless and until I am able to see what are these reports, I would not be able to commit myself to anything. But the government needs money, and in a $3 trillion economy, if you shut down an economy for 3 months, you can yourself appreciate the loss which will come arithmetically to you and the loss which could progressively come to you. So it's a challenge not only for India, it's a challenge for the world. And we have to, the government is aware. They took a conscious decision to close down. They were aware of the consequences of it. Now it's for the challenge for the Prime Minister, for the country, for the people, for the economists.
Let me get the other side in.
Nudge back the economy. And this is the situation we have. Yes, please. Yes, please. Yes.
Okay, so desperate times call for desperate measures. These are desperate measures in the interest of India. So suck it up, viewers, and take it, because we all have to sacrifice somewhere for the greater good. That's the basic point of view that is being put out. Okay, let me go straight across now to Sumant C. Raman and M.R. Venkatesh. Sumant C. Raman. Well,
common sense, Rahul, common sense will tell us that if the economy is to revive, there needs to be more money in the hands of the people. Now, if you are going to make it even more difficult for people to have money in their hands, then it's going to be extremely difficult. Now, this question of state governments raising VAT. Now, one of the major issues state governments face is that they haven't received their GST arrears. For instance, Tamil Nadu has more than 10,000 crores of arrears which have not come. So the states are struggling now, partly and significantly, because they have not received the arrears due to them as GST, as a state share. So there is a huge problem. Second, if you are going to actually raise fuel prices or not lower them, you are actually spiraling inflation further. So this is going to go, if you're going to say that the price remains the same and states add some VAT so it goes up by 2 rupees, 3 rupees, whatever, now that is going to affect virtually every product that is transported on the road. So I think we have a huge
M.R.
issue
Venkatesh.
where when we are going down the hill, I think this is like...
Okay, so there's a demand side crisis today. Why are you constraining the ability of Indians to consume, to create the demand by digging deeper into their pockets? M.R. Venkatesh.
Desperate times call for desperate measures, but not idiotic measures. And this will rank up as the most idiotic measure by raising prices. Now I'll tell you, when you are not, there is not even a single car which has been purchased or sold in the month of April. Now whether you hike the excise or GST or whatever, it makes no difference. Anything multiplied by 0 is 0. Likewise, if you raise the petrol prices, when 90% of the petrol demand has come down world over and also in India, whether you raise it or not, it's not going to affect your revenue. You have to take the bull by the horns. 99% of the people in India do not know whether they will receive the salary of the month of May. And only one set of people, not even the state government, are sure whether they will get the salary. Only the central government employees are clear that they will get the salary. You have to go for a salary cut of the government employees, for which I'm sorry to use the word, no government has the guts. No central government leader has ever spoken of cutting down salary by 25% of the central government employees.
Okay, Mr. Rudy wants to respond to you very quickly, and then I want to bring in Akshay Marathe also. Yes.
Just salaries, government expenditure.
All these things are
You see, we have the brightest of scholars and economists on the channel. But if anyone could tell me the final date when the COVID is going to end so that we can plan the system, we are still facing with that threat. My only point here is someone has talked about the economy. And the very fact that GST has to go to the state, the very first step the government took was sanction 1,70,000 crore in the Pradhan Mantri Kalyan Yojana. I'm not talking about that. Now the question is of mopping of the revenue. In just 1 month, the revenue, the GST, the revenue of the central government has fallen by 55,000 crores. We were about 1,15,000 crores. Now it has to go proportionally to the states. It's a different situation. So we have the best of economists on the television channel. I am sure many of the most intelligent people across the country must be hearing you. But when you cannot print notes to mop up consumption. Please, 30 seconds. You cannot print notes to mop up consumption.
No, but these arrears should have been given to them at the right time. You withheld the arrears. You withheld their money, their share. But okay, 1 minute. Let me bring in Akshay Marathe of the Aam Aadmi Party. Okay, just 1 second. Let me bring him in. Akshay Marathe, look, Delhi the government just about 3 months ago said we have a surplus, revenue surplus. We are rich. We're a great state. We managed our finances very well. We can actually give you freebies. You won an election on the back of those freebies. Now suddenly you've hiked up the rates of petrol and diesel by astronomical amounts at a time when people don't even have jobs, when most of the industries in the state of Delhi, in and around Delhi, can't even open. These are MSMEs that employ so many people because it's a red zone. Why?
Now let's appreciate the enormity of the crisis that we are facing today. Unlike any other natural disaster, we have faced tsunamis, we have faced earthquakes, we have faced flash floods.
Revenue surplus, Mr. Marathe, revenue surplus.
Now allow me just 1 minute and I'll come to all your questions.
Okay.
We have never faced a crisis that is actually ongoing for months on end. It is not as if an earthquake has struck and then the relief operation takes place and the economy has to be opened up. The crisis continues. The economy has to be opened up, yes, but it has to be in a phased manner. And to be able to open up the economy, we have to be able to contain the virus. And whose job is it to contain the virus? It is the government's job to contain the virus. How is any government, whether a state government or the central government, going to be effective in controlling the spread of corona, in treating patients, in providing economic relief to the most marginalized of this country, if we don't have the revenues to actually do that? Tomorrow, Rahul, just imagine a situation where any of us has coronavirus. Let's say I cannot afford to go to a private hospital, I have to go to a government facility. But if the government doesn't have the money to treat me as a patient, what are we going to do about that? How are we going to survive the crisis?
In a life and death situation, the government will give you a lifeline because it has the money and it will have the facilities to give to you, which you can use to survive corona. Aryama Sundaram, what's the problem?
Look, Rahul, I think you have to look at this whole issue from three different aspects. One is the practical aspect. The second is the consequences of the decision. And the third is the perception. Now, the practical side of this is that whether we like to accept it or not, the governments are facing a Hobson's choice. They're between the devil and the deep sea. Now, on the one hand, the effect of raising prices like this, I'll deal with that in the consequences, are going to be well known. On the other hand, coffers are dry and the government has to run. Now, to find a way to get that kind of resources today, especially after huge amounts were sanctioned, 1,70,000 crores was sanctioned, other amounts have been sanctioned, there's a lot of expenses, it was bound to happen. The question is twofold. Is the timing right? And two, was it bound to happen in directions which are really going to have a direct impact on inflationary issues, which are going to have a direct impact on people, the man on the street whose prices are going to increase for everything? Those are the two questions. So I come to the second aspect, which is the consequences.
A tightrope walk between lives and livelihoods. There are also livelihoods, and if people starve because they don't have money in their pockets, so they just find themselves unemployed or unemployable, then what happens? Sanjay Pinto, that's the tightrope walk. And that is an important one. Lives also have to be saved, but so do livelihoods. So this is not a pleasant situation that any government, would willfully put themselves in.
I completely agree with my learned senior, Mr. Aryama Sundaram. I must point out that India is a welfare state under the Constitution. During a pandemic, during this acute crisis,
you cannot afford to tell people of your state, like Maria Antoinette said, if there's no bread, eat cake. If there are no doles, pay higher taxes. That cannot be the stand of any responsible government. We have to find ways and means. There are so many people, some of the earlier esteemed panelists spoke about GST arrears not being paid. I know of even income tax refunds that have been sanctioned but yet to be dispersed. There are so many entrepreneurs who are struggling to pay salaries. How long? It's one thing for us to, moral obligations will at some point be eclipsed by financial constraints and realities. From where is the money going to? It cannot fall like manna from heaven suddenly. How are people going to pay salaries? And if you're going to increase taxes like this, there will be a cascading effect. There will be a cascading effect, Rahul, on the prices of essential commodities. That's the last thing that we need today. For now, we need to actually have proper stimulus packages for the common man. In fact, I went to the extent the other day of suggesting that the government, at least for the lowest bracket of income tax payees,
to put in some money into their accounts. Many other countries have done that, and there are those out of those who don't really need that money who return that to the government. Like LPG subsidies were initially returned by a lot of well-meaning people. I think we need stimulus now. We don't need any new taxes or any hike in taxes right now.
Okay, we need a stimulus. We need a stimulus. That's what some of the individuals who are representing your voice out there are saying. Viewers, think about it. No politician likes to be painted into a villain. That's the last thing they would want. So there must be some very compelling reasons why certain politicians who are quite populist, who like to be on the good side of public opinion, are treading this path. There must be massive compulsions. We will get into these debates even deeper in the days ahead. But this is a debate that won't go away. Let me tell you. We leave it at that. The news are with Navika Kumar.